Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today is going to be all about hooded eyes. So if you have hooded eyes and you'd like to know how to disguise them, or you'd like to know how to emphasize them and make them look more hooded, then please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to keep this really short and sweet because people complain at me for making too many disclaimers in my videos, and I can completely understand. So let's keep it short and sweet. Let me just say, big disclaimer people, I have hooded eyes myself. There is nothing wrong with having hooded eyes. I actually quite like my hooded eyes, or my family have hooded eyes, and sometimes I like to emphasize them and put them on show. There are other days where I think, I'd like to disguise the hood and I'd like to make my eyes look a little bit more elevated. So if all you're going to get out of this video is the fact that I think all hooded eyes are ugly and should be covered over and completely camouflaged, then you are on the wrong channel and you have got completely the wrong idea about me. You do whatever you want to your face, you wear whatever makeup you want to. As long as you're happy, I am happy. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first tip, if you want to emphasize the hooded eye and make your eyes look even more downturned, then what you need to do is elongate the eyebrow and really curve it round to the end of the hood. Now the curve really does emphasize the downward motion, so it will make it look even more downturned, and the length of the eyebrow will frame the hood, bringing a lot more attention to it. So if you want to try and disguise your hooded eye, you need to try and keep the eyebrow as horizontal as possible. Make sure the wing doesn't go too far down because that will drag the eye down a little bit. So try and keep everything as horizontal as possible, and it will give the impression that your eye is a little bit more lifted, and it won't draw too much attention to the hood because you're not framing it. If you want to make your hoods even more prominent, what you can do is add a highlighter all over the hood itself. So all the way from the bottom of the brow, all the way to the crease and to the ends of the brow. As you can see, this has really highlighted the hood, made it seem a lot more prominent. And if you highlight any area, it makes it seem more pushed forward, more prominent, and a lot more highlighted and more noticeable. So if you're wanting to do that, that is one way of doing it. Add a very pale, shimmery eyeshadow all over the hood. If you're wanting to disguise your hood, what you can do is still highlight under the brow bone to make the brow look a little bit more elevated, but use a matte shadow. Always use a matte shadow, not a shimmery one, because the shimmery ones will eventually, at the end of the day, have made their way all the way down and maybe have crept onto the hood itself, which will help highlight the hood, not disguise it. So just add a little bit of matte highlighter. Don't go all the way underneath the brow, just concentrate on the actual wing, and that will make the wing seem a little bit more elevated and also the eye as well. So the third tip to make your hooded eyes look a little bit more prominent is to add a dark shadow all over the lid space and only on the lid space. You don't want to go any higher than the natural lid. And also you can go a little bit lower than the natural lid actually finishes on the outer corners. This will make your eyes seem a little bit more downturned and a little bit more droopy, and in doing so you will emphasize the hood. Putting a dark shadow on the lid itself makes the lid seem a little bit more recessed and the hood seem a little bit more prominent and pushed forward. So you will definitely emphasize the hood if you do this method. Okay, so the third tip for disguising a hooded eye is to use a straight edge whenever you are applying your eyeshadows. Now, there's nothing wrong with using dark shadows when you have hooded eyes and you want to disguise them. In fact, I actually recommend it. If you apply a dark shadow to the actual hood itself, it will make it seem more recessed and further back and therefore less prominent. So what I do is I apply my straight edge to the corner of my eye, and I apply my shadows in either horizontal or vertical angled movements. This way, I never get a downturned angle with my shadow and my eye doesn't look droopy. And when you take this away, you're left with a beautiful upwards angular finish, which really does elevate the eye, really lifts the corner of the eye, makes the hood look a lot less prominent, makes the eye look a lot more open. I also like to add a little bit of very pale shimmer shadow to the actual center of my lid. This just makes the lid space seem more vast, the eye seems more open and bigger and more awake. Okay, so the fourth tip to emphasize the hooded eye is to add a very thick line of liner to the top lash. This will take up a lot of precious lid space, and if you take up all your lid space, your lid looks a lot smaller and your hood looks a lot larger. You can also take the liner a little bit lower than your natural lash line finishes. This will make your eye look a little bit droopier, and if your eye looks droopier, your hood will naturally look a lot more emphasized. If you want to emphasize that hood even more, add a thick line of liner to the bottom lash. This closes off the eye, making the eye look smaller and the hood look larger. So if you want to disguise the hooded eye even further, I apply a tiny bit of eyeliner to the top lash line, but I don't go all the way across. So what I will do is I will start about a third of the way from the inner corner of the eye, stay very, very close to the lash line, and then emphasize the outer corner of the eye a lot more. This just makes the eye look a little bit more lifted and elevated, and therefore disguises the hood. I also do the same on the bottom lash line, so I'll start from the outer corner of the eye and just go a third of the way in. This draws attention to the outer portion of the eye, just making it look a little bit more lifted. Okay, so the final tip for emphasizing your hooded eye is to not curl your lashes. Now, I cannot believe I'm saying this, because even when I emphasize my hoods, I still curl my lashes because I like a curled lash. That's just me. But if you really want to go the whole hog, don't curl the lash. So by not curling the lash, you're not giving that upward motion to the eye, and you're just making it look a little bit more droopy on one side. That's just it. And if you do that, it will emphasize the hood even more. Also, if you want to really emphasize the hood, put a lot of mascara on the bottom lash. This will make your eye look really bottom heavy and droop the eye down a little bit more, making your hood seem more prominent. So the final tip for disguising a hooded eye is to obviously curl those lashes. By curling the lashes, you're making everything seem more upturned and lifted, and you're really stopping the hood from looking too downturned and saggy. It does make a huge, huge difference. I like to apply 2 coats of mascara to the top lash line, which just exaggerates that lifting effect even more. On the other hand, to stop your hooded eye looking more downturned, I like to only apply 1 coat of mascara on the bottom lash line. If you draw too much attention to the bottom lash line, the eye can seem a little bit more pulled down and a little bit saggy. So I like to apply 2 coats to the top and only 1 coat to the bottom. So whether you want to emphasize your hooded eye or whether you want to disguise it in some way, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you've picked up some tips and tricks that will help you do what you want to do. If you have, please do give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget I am on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, so if you want to follow me on there, you are very, very welcome to do so. My Instagram gives a little bit more of a burst into my personal life as well as the whole makeup world. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye!